Hannah Dugan, the Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge, was taken into custody April 25th, 2025, by the FBI, charged with obstructing federal law enforcement operation and concealing an individual to prevent an arrest of allegedly helping Eduardo Flores-Ruiz, an undocumented immigrant. She helped him evade ICE in the Milwaukee County courthouse, took him out the back, and allegedly this guy just totally beat the crap out of two people, almost killed someone. That's what he was in court for. I believe he has a longer rap than that. And our justice system is totally out of control and corrupt. And I don't know about you, but I'm extremely excited that we had two judges arrested this last weekend. Judges are on notice that they are not above the law. And now the left and everyone is crying that you can't arrest judges, that they should be above the law. Total hypocrisy, but I hope that this is going to be a step in the right direction for bringing some justice and common sense back into the country, the judicial system, etc.
Here is another prime example. This is Andrew Weissman claiming that Trump being targeted with bogus charges in a shocking case of lawfare, well, that was a great day for America because it proved no one is above the law. But when an activist judge breaks real laws, well, their arrest is a violation.
He is being treated no better or worse than anyone else. This is not selective prosecution, that this is not somebody who's singled out, that he is being treated just like anyone else. That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what the Justice Department is really signaling and messaging here, is that everyone will be treated, as Merrick Garland has said, as equally in this country. This is really a great day for America. So there has been a violation here that we know for sure, and it is not the judge. Right, exactly. You don't do it. Even if you thought that there was a ground for doing this, the judgment call that you thought that this is the case to bring, it tells you everything. There is no adult in the room who would have said, "Are you kidding me? Why would you possibly do this?" And the answer is because we want to send a signal to the judiciary. And that's what you shouldn't be doing.
You should be sending a signal that they can break the law and do whatever they want and steal and just completely be corrupt.
And isn't it funny how the notion that nobody is above the law disappears when leftist activist judges break laws? And these are real laws, not trumped-up charges used to stop a political candidate from winning office. Remember when Russian collusion hoaxer Rachel Maddow was all about no individual being above the law? Wonder what's changed.
Nobody's above the law. We only have one system of law for everyone. Nothing about being an elected official gives you a license to commit crimes or a license to get away with it if you do. Why step up politically and defend a judge or a prosecutor? That's supposed to be a non-political part of our system. It's not like we didn't know it was going to be terrible. And it is terrible. He really did have a judge arrested today. Arresting a judge today. Are you kidding me?
And why was
Rachel Maddow is a complete hack. I think it's finally gotten to the point where they're clearly stepping away from her. It's messing up the sale. My understanding is they're trying to sell off MSNBC, and the liability of the lawsuits. I don't know if you guys have been following. There's a huge defamation lawsuit with the doctor story she did, but it's been proven here the last couple of years that Rachel Maddow has purposely had her whole show. Well, she'll have a whole show based on lies and deception, and they will put out the show to get the views, and then the next day they'll retract and apologize when no one's watching. And because it's a money-making scheme, defaming others, it needs to be addressed. And hopefully she'll be sued to oblivion and won't have to hear the shenanigans anymore. But it's sad because she is definitely, used to be someone that I think had some integrity and tried to report the news. And now she is definitely a big part of all of this crazy protests and things that no one knows what they're talking about, and everyone's just angry about everything because of this just divisive reporting. that is totally all about views and money and not about reality and what's actually happening.
Was Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan arrested by the FBI? Now, this is the part of the story that Rachel Maddow failed to tell her audience. Let's hear from Attorney General Pam Bondi.
This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, beat the guy, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Joining me now is Newsweek's senior editor-at-large and Article 3 project.
I mean, if all this is true, it's unbelievable. And we know that a lot of these judges have been out of control for a long time, and it's on both sides. It's not just left and right. But yeah, I mean, it has gotten to the point where they were waiting in these two judges that are arrested were caught red-handed. There's no defense they can make other than Trump bad. We have to stop Trump. They have no other argument. And so they started with judges like that, and now hopefully we'll start seeing this weekly that all these judges who are just constantly doing whatever they want, the law doesn't matter. Hopefully, the brakes will start to start to kick in.
Project Senior Counsel Josh Hammer. Josh, the leftist media is actually pushing the narrative that these arrests are sinister, they're politically motivated. They seem to think that these leftist judges are above the law. They can obstruct justice, they can hide offenders.
Rita, Rachel Maddow is one thing, but I mean, seriously, how many times for the past 2 years do we hear leftist media talking heads, leftist lawyers, Democratic senators, congressmen, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris? They all said this over and over and over again. No one is above the law. No one is above the law. Oh, wait, yeah, no one is above the law until it's a sympathetic Democrat judge trying to harbor an illegal alien's escape. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, literally, these people are just systemically incapable of anything remotely resembling intellectual consistency. I mean, it literally is what is good for the goose is apparently not good for the gander. Now, I happen to agree with Rachel Maddow in those first two clips. I agree that no one is above the law. I happen to disagree with her on what the law is as it applied to, for example, Donald Trump and these 4 prosecutions. But in this particular case, the case of this state judge in Wisconsin, this is constitutional law 101 stuff, Rita. The Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution is very clear. Federal law is supreme over state law. If federal law says you're an illegal alien, you got to get out, and the state judge is trying to undermine that, that state judge has to be arrested, and thank God that's what happens.
What do you guys think? Is this heading the right direction or not?